live?
Yeah.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah, I switched. I used Restream and I wanted to switch to YouTube, and I think no. Do you think it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it works. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we have a new version of Restream, or
No,
we stopped using Restream.
I stopped using Restream. I switched to sorry. I switched to YouTube to going from OBS live to YouTube.
Yeah. So it is Monday again. It's 6:30 EST. Usually we start with a book review.
Yes.
And this time we're gonna take the usual book review segment and finally make the announcement about the book that's coming out.
Yes, we are. Okay. So yeah, you can switch. So I have a book coming out. I think I might have talked about it a little bit before, but not a lot. So yes, it's finally announced on my Instagram and all the social media. And the book is called Razor Gray, and I just wanted to show some art from the book itself that I have here. And we have some technical difficulties today. I don't know why, but the camera, the side camera doesn't work. Maybe switch this one on and then turn this here
That
so
way?
Yeah, so they can see me. Just
Okay.
so okay, so I marked here some of the pages. So actually this one is these are all prints, by the way, because I don't have the originals with me. I remember somebody was interested in buying this page because I had it. It was already done when I went to OAX, but not the last one, the one before that. So more than a year ago. So yeah, that's the first page of the story. I don't know if it's possible to see it, but yeah, I think it shows. Okay, and that's another page from the story. This is actually a double page, and I printed it on a single page. I just pasted them together. Okay, we have some more. Okay, that's another one of the second issue pages. This is one of the main characters, and the whole story is on a planet Ceres, and which is in the asteroid belt, and this is the space station. And the design of the space station is supposed to be like, these are the gravity works by the plates here rotating around the center here, and each part has like buildings and people inside. It's a space station. Yeah, so this is the cover. It's a wrap around. So it's another double page. This side is A3 and this side is A3, and I stitch them together. And yeah, so the story has some.
Did we say what the title was?
Yeah, I said.
Okay.
Razor Gray.
Yeah.
Name of the story. And the name is it's a nickname that it's about a space colony, and there's miners that go and mine gallium on Ceres. And the miners chose this nickname for the planet Ceres, because it's mostly made out of ice, but very sharp. It has very sharp edges, which are kind of dangerous for astronauts because they can damage their suits with it. So they nicknamed the planet Razor Gray. And it's also very gray. It's all ice. So that's the meaning of the name. And so the story has some scenes that are supposed to be in 4D, and this is one of them. It's the cover. So the idea is that you see the character, that's the main character, and you see the character as if you see time as space, meaning you see the movement of the character but in one frame. So that's the reason you see a lot of instances of the same character. And for the covers, the way I did it, because it's so hard to figure out all the cross sections between the faces, I used the 3D software to design it, and I used the outcome as a reference. I used Blender, which is a open source software, 3D software. So you can make a character do some movements, and then using some feature in the software, you can make it seem as if the movement shows over and over again on the same image. So I used it to figure out all the cross sections between the faces, because this is very hard to think about without any reference. Almost impossible to think about all the sections. Yeah, so that's the main cover. Another page from one of the more action scenes in the story. Again, this is the main character here, and some miners are rebelling against something in the story. And yeah, another double. Yeah, I think this scene is not from the first issue, but yeah, it's another double, and there's a stitch somewhere here in the middle. Yeah, I guess it goes here somewhere. So when you open the issue, you're gonna see the seam in the middle.
There was a question asked, do we know if there's a release date yet?
I think the FOC is somewhere around ending of April, but I don't have a specific date, so I'm not sure, but I know it's gonna come out on March. No, not March. Sorry, May.
May.
Yeah, yeah. These are more doubles from the story. Yeah, it's kind of a futuristic cityscapes. I drew them a long time ago. I think these must be from maybe 2 years ago, maybe more. And now they're part of the book. Yeah, it took some time because of all kinds of reasons related to the publisher. Another double. This one is from the first issue. And so the story is that the miners find a some sort of an artifact underneath the ice crust of the planet. Planet Ceres has they think that they're not sure about it, but they think it has a ice crust, and underneath the hard ice, a few kilometers underneath, they think it might have water, like liquid water, but they're not absolutely sure about it. But in my story, they do find something that looks man-made, but it's not, because no man was there before. And they go to investigate it, and they find some sort of a weird looking something that they're not sure about what it is. And yeah, that's basically the story. And yeah, I think these are all the pages I actually have here. So, but the only page that was actually shown on my Instagram today is the cover page, and you can actually show it here maybe on the which is in color.
Yeah, this is the colored cover page.
Yeah, and I went, so the story is the interior is colored by Lee Luridge, which is he colored Deadly Class. I don't know if any of you read it, but it's a cool, very cool comic. Worked on a lot of other cool stuff, and he's very talented, and I really like that his style is very similar to mine. But the covers I colored myself, and I went for as you can see, more psychedelic look, more or less. Like a very limited color palette.
Yeah.
With just a few colors, and I used I colored the inks in a dark blue, and there's only, I think, 3 colors.
Yeah, there's 3 colors.
Only 3
there's
colors
the
are
darker blue, the lighter blue, which is like a cyan.
Yeah,
and then
the
this
red.
pink. Yeah.
Yeah, and it works. The cyan and the magenta are kind of almost complementary colors.
Right.
So it kind of messes with your eyes.
Yeah, I
when you
like
see
I
it.
like it when opposite colors are next to each other like that, just all bare.
Yeah, so that's the idea, and it's kind of hard to do all the shading with only 3 colors.
Yeah, of course.
But it was, I like the challenge.
Yeah.
And I think it works. I think it reminds people of the psychedelic movement from the 60s, like posters from the 60s, and there's a lot of it in the story itself. So I think it
reminds me of the old stereoscopic glasses with the red on one side and blue on the other side. Because you would have the images that you would look at would have like
2 images,
a sort of
one on
adjacent,
top of the other,
an offset of like a reddish one and an offset of a bluish one, and you would get this sort of feeling.
Oh, there's another page I didn't.
Oh wow!
Did I show this one? Yeah, that's another page from the first issue. Yeah, the planet has volcanoes. They think it has volcanoes, but the volcanoes spit water and not lava.
Right. Is that because like Ceres has an ocean underneath the ice?
They think it has an ocean underneath the ice. They can't be sure of that, but it's a possibility. I chose for it to be truth in this
Could you
specific
imagine if
story.
there were like life, complex life, such as animals living in the oceans underneath the ice sheets in our solar system on one of the moons? That would be
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
If the whole time, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it was just like right there, but
Yeah, they think so. There's two options for life in our solar system. One of them is Europa. They think again in Europa. They think there might be an ocean underneath the planet itself. But I think a lot of stories already wrote a lot about Europa. I think in other science fiction stories.
yeah, all these planets are yours, all these worlds are yours except Europa. Isn't
Yeah,
that from Space Odyssey, or
I
what is that
think
from?
so. I don't remember, but there's a lot of sci-fi written about Europa,
Yeah.
and nothing about Ceres, which is I think it's bizarre because it might have life as well. It has the same like the same um, percentage of chance to have life,
Yeah.
and it's only like water and under the sea creatures, or if there's anything there.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, that's the that's this.
That's the review
That's the
portion.
review portion.
So finally, we were able to tell everyone
Yeah.
that Razor Gray is the project that we've been alluding to,
Mm-hmm.
and it is supposed to come out either sort of like late April or early May.
Yes, early May,
Yeah.
I think. And I I think I'll have more things to say about it
Mm-hmm.
soon, because the publisher only, oh, and I didn't talk about the publisher.
Mm-hmm.
It's the publisher is called Panick Entertainment.
Yeah.
It's a very cool, I think we can call it maybe a startup publisher.
Mm-hmm.
They only exist for I think a year,
Yeah.
maybe less than a year. And I saw a lot of their books in stores, even here and in the US. I think they're growing very fast. And they so basically it's Chris Longo, who worked at DC a while ago, and also at Heavy Metal. I met Chris at Heavy Metal. And Adam Schlagman also worked at DC before, and so that's their company.
Mm.
And they just announced a collaboration with another publisher called Rocket Ship.
Right.
And I think Rocket Ship they're doing a bunch of comics that they acquired from webcomics
Right.
and some other stuff. I think I saw something from Image that they're republishing from one of the early Image projects. Not sure. Not sure I remember exactly what it is, but yeah, it's also a cool company.
Yeah.
And so yeah, Chris wanted to do something together. He knew me from BioRipple when he worked at Heavy Metal. So he reached out, and I think I sent him a couple of options, but he really liked Razor Gray. And I think the pitch, I think I think the pitch for this story is like I did a maybe 5-page pitch, or maybe more. And it was, I think it was from 2023, the pitch itself. So it took some time to get it done. And but also after they wanted the project, I think I finished it more than a year ago already.
Yeah.
So yeah, it took some time. I think it was because some decisions that are more boring, like stuff like dates and announcements of other stuff.
Right.
But yeah, it finally.
What page are you working on at the moment?
Yeah, so now I'm working on a page from Helix Sky. I'm almost finished with the second issue, with the inking of the second issue. I think it's page 18, maybe. I think one of the last ones. And do you know who's this guy is based on?
Yeah, I can tell. I think you asked me already, and I said immediately said Adamandra.
Yeah.
Because Adamandra has one of the longest necks in existence. And he used to have like curly hair. Or he doesn't anymore, I think, but it really does resemble him quite a bit.
What do you mean he doesn't have curly hair
Well,
anymore?
he doesn't grow it out long enough for it to curl, right? So it's so short now that you don't see that he has curly hair.
But he still has curly hair.
Well, in theory, yeah.
In theory.
Yeah. He's not presenting it to the world, but he has the ability to present curly hair to the world.
Yeah, so it's this specific scene is, so the character here in Helix Sky is a climber, and she's one of the main themes in the story is some sort of a chase between the main character and another one, and they are both climbers and parkourists.
Right.
So this and some other scenes are showing the character training to climb. And I wanted to use like a climbing coach or some trainer or something like that. So I don't know, I really like the way he has Alamondra. He has like a very specific look.
Yeah, definitely.
So I thought it would be cool to. And I think if I have any climbers, followers, or readers, they're gonna appreciate it.
You know that you do, actually.
Yeah, I know that I do a few. Yeah.
We met a few fans at San Diego Comic-Con. I think it was 2022, maybe?
4.
Or
no, 4.
3? Okay, 4. Was it 2024? Yeah, it could be. And yeah, they were.
It seems like it was 2022, but actually it was 2024.
They were very nice.
It looks. I don't know. It seems as if it was a long time ago, but it wasn't that long.
Shout out to the group of climbers that met us at San Diego Comic-Con. You know who you are.
Yeah, if you're here, say hi.
For sure, say hi. If you're not here live, because we are live streaming, you can leave a comment and we'll go over them in a few days. Yeah, it was amazing getting to know you a little bit back then, and we hope to see you again.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to go to San Diego this year again. we'll see. It might happen, but I'm not sure.
What would be the considerations?
I think I thought about going this year, but I forgot about it.
Right.
And when I remembered it, it was too late. It was after
Oh yeah, I see.
after the submission for the Artist Alley was closed already.
Mm-hmm.
But I did submit to be in the waiting list.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to go. It's a long flight.
Yeah, it's not that long. It's like 6 hours, I think.
Maybe even less, 5 hours.
Yeah, we're Canada East Coast, so.
And we're going to Chicago.
Right, we're gonna be at C2E2
C2E2
on I believe it's the 27th of this month.
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah, 27th, 20th, 29th. So Friday to Sunday.
Yes. And I've already done some commissions for C2E2.
Anything
I think I've got another one, but I don't think it's confirmed yet. But somebody asked for another one just recently. Yeah, I've done some cool commissions for C2E2. Rocket Raccoon I've done here on the stream.
Right.
Do you remember?
Yes, and I think we also showed it finished, if I'm not mistaken. And you did the Batwoman.
Yeah, that's right.
And the female Robin.
Yeah.
And then
another one.
Yeah, I think there was another one maybe.
Yeah, there was another one.
A Superman maybe? Was there?
No, the Superman was for an auction. The Superman was I wasn't paid for it. It was donation.
It was charity?
Charity.
Okay, yeah. Jillian asks, how do you choose which conventions to go to?
Like at first, I was looking at conventions that might help me, like in my career. So I talked to my. I think the first the first American convention I've done was in Italy. It was Como.
Right.
And my art rep, she organized it back then, and she wanted me to come.
Right.
And when I talked to her back then, she was saying that San Diego is the best place if you wanna. So my original thought was I wanna meet editors and other professionals, like do stuff that can help me advance my career. So she suggested San Diego.
Yeah.
Because it's the biggest one and it's on the West Coast and most of the publishers today are there. So that's the first one I chose. But back then it was pretty hard because it was very far for us to come there.
Yeah.
So it was very complicated. It's hard. Like such a long flight. And but so each convention is good for other stuff. So OAX, for example, and Como are conventions that are better if you're an artist and you want to sell, like actually sell art,
originals,
and do commissions.
Yeah.
OAX, I think it's the best show I've ever done that in terms of like sales,
Right.
like the most amount of commissions and original art sales
Yeah.
was done there, but no publisher is there, so it's not, if you wanna like advance your career and meet editors and publisher, that's not the place to do that, because none of them are there.
Yeah.
Except the ones that are specifically interested in original art.
Right.
There are some. Like I met one of the guys that ordered the commission there. He has a publishing agency,
Right.
and he likes originals. So, and I also met another one that has a company, the guy from Bad Idea. And the other one that I just talked about is Carl Choi, who
Right.
has a 24/7 comics. They just announced a collaboration with Tokyopop, which is a manga publisher.
Yeah.
So there are some publishers in the art shows, but not a lot.
Yeah.
So it actually depends on what you want to achieve. And there's other things to consider, because San Diego, for example, is a huge show, and it's hard to meet people there, I think, because people are it's very chaotic, and people are very busy, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. So it's hard to like take the time and schedule a meeting with somebody, but I did that there. And then there's the smaller ones. I actually think the smaller ones are the best, like Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I've never been to C2E2. It's gonna be the first time, but I heard a lot of good stuff about it. And the thing is, the small shows, it's less crowded, and it seems like you're gonna sell maybe less, but I actually sold much more in Baltimore compared to New York
Yeah.
Comic Con. I think maybe it's because it's more there's less of the bigger stuff, like the movies and the bigger publishers, and it's more comic centric.
Right.
Maybe that's the reason you might be able to sell more at the smaller shows.
Yeah.
But also the best thing about the small shows, that it's much easier to meet people. Not just schedule a meeting, because I had some meetings I scheduled in advance, and it was easy to do that. But also, if you just walk around the show, and it's easier to do that because it's less crowded. And I just walked around and met a lot of people. That's how I got to talk to a lot of artists that I really like.
Yeah.
I got to talk to Paul Pope, for example, there.
Yeah.
They just have a table there, and they don't have a lot of people in line to wait for them, as opposed to in New York, for example.
Yeah.
They'll have like a line, like a big line.
Or San Diego.
Or San Diego.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's too much going on in the big shows. There's too many people, it's too much noise, there's way too many big vendors. And a lot of
Yeah.
distracting sort of, I don't know, what do they call them? Activations or whatever.
Yeah, but I think there's also a difference between San Diego and New York. I think San Diego is, I think it's better for me specifically. I don't know why, but I think it's maybe my specific followers and readers or fans. I don't know how to call you guys, but I think I
Audience, I
have
guess.
audience. Yeah, I think I have more of them maybe in the West Coast.
Oh, really?
I think so. I'm not sure, but
I wouldn't have guessed that.
obviously San Diego was better in terms of sales
Yeah.
than New York.
Well, but we have to take into account that we weren't
Yeah, we weren't
positioned in
yeah,
Artist Alley
that's right.
in
Yeah.
New York,
We
so
didn't
that
have
was.
a good position.
And I think we were on sort of the ground floor, and in an area that was mostly sort of walked by.
Yeah, it was
So
a
we
good
saw a
spot.
lot of people walking, but not many actually stopped at the table, or because they didn't have Artist Alley in mind when they were there.
Yeah,
So I
that's
think they
right.
were in a motive to like getting to the next
Yeah,
whatever it is.
unless they were coming specifically to see me, and that's yeah.
Right, but that's you. Yeah, you're missing out on a lot of sort
Yeah,
of random
exactly.
interactions
Yeah.
that way.
We'll see for next year what will be
In New York?
in New York, yeah.
Mm.
But this year for now, I'm gonna do a C2E2 and we'll see about the next ones. I don't have anything planned yet.
When are the next big ones that you're thinking about participating in?
I'm thinking about New York because it's very close to here and the flight is very short.
Yeah.
And also my friend that lives there offered for us to stay at his place because he has they moved to a new apartment.
Yeah.
And have a guest room. So it's gonna be cheap, the flight and hotel, because otherwise the flight is not expensive because it's Toronto to New York, which is
an hour and a half, maybe, yeah, or an hour.
An hour.
Yeah.
But the hotels in New York are like I don't know what's going on there, but they're so expensive. It's impossible. Do you remember the hotel that we?
It wasn't a hotel.
It wasn't. It was a crack house.
No, it wasn't a crack house. It was sort of like what do they call when you travel, like backpacking?
Motel.
No, not a guest. Yeah, like a guest house, I guess. It was more like a guest house because there was a shared kitchen.
Yeah.
There was no kitchen in the rooms.
Yeah.
It was shared bathroom and shower, which was out in the hall in its own room that you would lock. So you didn't have a bathroom en suite.
And it was expensive.
And it was also expensive, yeah.
Yeah, that was, and I didn't know that when I ordered the room.
No, we had no idea that was the the way that guest house functioned.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen again.
No, never. Jillian says, can you talk a bit about what it means to have an art rep?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What it means to have an art rep? It means that I get commissions through my art rep, and she represents anything that is art related, but nothing that is comic related, which is kind of, it sounds confusing, but it's not actually confusing. So everything that is art sales goes through her, and she gets some of the percentages from the sales. So I work traditionally. So every page I'm inking,
You're
I
able to
usually
sell it, yeah.
I usually sell it
Right.
unless I really want to keep it, which I don't think I have anything like that because I'm not attached to any of my pages. I can always print them, and so most of the pages I send to her, and she has connections in the comic art collectors world.
Right.
Specifically, she works with the comic art fans. There's a website. I think it's the biggest website of
Original comic
original
art, yeah.
comic art.
With
They also have a very popular YouTube show.
Yeah. What is it called
And
again? Is it just Comic Art?
Comic Art Live.
Comic Art Live, yeah. And I met the host. So
oh yeah, I gotta meet him. Yeah,
Bill Cox.
Bill Cox. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I randomly bumped into him while walking around at New York, if I'm not mistaken. And I was like, "Oh, you're that guy from YouTube." And he he goes, "Yeah, I think I could be that guy. I am on YouTube."
Yeah, he's on YouTube, but I think it's not the main, like, people know him mostly from comic art fans.
I couldn't remember
he's
his
the
name back
owner.
then. I know his name now, but I couldn't remember it. I just remembered you watching him on YouTube.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I explained why I knew his face but not his name, and he understood.
So yeah, so basically having an art rep, I think it's very crucial if you want to like advance your career. It's not just the fact that you were able to sell your stuff, which is very important. I think it's my I don't think, I'm sure that it's my main income in comics, and that's all is from selling my originals, so you can make money from it. And also if you have an art rep that is known in the industry, they can help you to get to shows.
Right.
Some of them have booths at the big shows. Some of them, yeah, they have they can help you get to the conventions scene.
So it really depends what you're doing, because if you don't actually generate traditional original art, there's no reason to have an art rep.
Yeah, of course. It's only for originals.
Yeah.
And the other thing I forgot to mention is I get commissions through her.
Right. No,
So
you did mention that.
I did?
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously you can always like market yourself and talk to people and say that you're open for commissions. But art reps they know better how to do that. And I don't care about the giving the percentage that my art rep gets in order to leave her the job of taking care of all the other stuff that I actually don't want to do myself, like marketing and talking to clients and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing about art reps is they talk to each other. So if you're with an art rep, they're gonna show your art to other people.
For sure.
And that's very important because you want to grow always.
It's a symbiosis. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah, sometimes I hear people are looking at it as if they are like giving away money that they can keep to themselves.
Nah, it's
Like
not true though.
about the percentages.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the percentages are the same for every art trap, I think.
Yeah, Jillian, so art reps, at least in the comic industry, they only deal with originals that are created traditionally. They don't deal with prints or
Yeah,
any kind of sort
they
of,
do deal with prints. Yeah, they
but
can deal
only
with prints.
when they're like limited runs and
Yeah.
are of an original piece, right?
And it actually depends on who's your art rep, because some of them do more and some of them do less, and everyone is different.
I don't know if she represent anyone that does sort of more of an illustration style. She does.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of her
Right.
specifically Tatiana Dykes,
Yeah.
who's my art rep. She represents a lot of
Yeah.
illustrators and people that do Magic the Gathering cards art.
Right.
A lot of them, a lot of her clients are illustrators.
Right.
So it depends.
Yeah, I think she's very knowledgeable when it comes to Magic the Gathering. Or I sort of
Yeah, I think she organizes there's an event in OAX that they do each year, and I think they play Magic the Gathering there.
yeah.
Like they do a game. I'm not sure if it's related to the art that's on display there or not.
Mm.
But I heard a lot of good things about OAX, the last one.
Yeah, did it go
I
over
wasn't
well?
there.
No, but probably maybe the next one.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So, Jillian, to answer the question, illustrations definitely, well, at least in Nir's art rep's case, she does also represent illustrators, but the pieces that she'd sell would be original pieces. So they wouldn't be sort of like digitally printed copies of unlimited runs. Maybe they could be like Giclée prints of a limited number. That happens sometimes.
Yeah, I've done Giclée prints with her, but it was like a very specific thing, and usually it doesn't really work like that.
Yeah. Yeah, a literary agent would be a completely different thing.
Yeah, literary agent is something else. They have completely different expertise.
Yes.
Something
So
else.
they would represent the artist or the writer in the exact opposite capacity. So they would represent them as far as anything that has to do with writing, books, publishers, getting, going over contracts and getting their written or ideas put
Yeah.
in front of publishing houses.
Yeah, and mostly in the comic industry, people doesn't have, don't have, don't, doesn't,
Don't have.
don't have literary agents. Some of them have, but mostly, yeah, it comes from more from traditional book publishing, where authors have agents. The agents help them find the right publisher for their manuscript. But in comics, I think you need them only if you work with big publishing companies
Mm-hmm.
like Macmillan and Penguin Random House, like the big book publishers.
Right.
And they also do comics. So
Oh, here are
If
the
you have-
ballet glasses again, right?
Yeah.
Making a comeback
Mm-hmm.
on page 18 or whatever page is it, 19?
I think it's 18, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
Jillian says, how would you approach a publisher at a convention? So is it right that I'm going to make a guess here based on like experience? Wouldn't you set that up in advance
Yeah.
mostly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way in the convention itself. Yeah,
Everyone's
there's no,
already pre-booked for every
Yeah.
minute of the day. It's crazy.
yeah.
They have specialized meeting rooms
Yeah,
that you can book.
you can meet people,
Yeah.
like, but it's easier to meet the creators themselves and not the publishers, because the publishers, they're usually they don't sit up by the table,
Yes.
like in the booth of the, I don't know, Boom Studios or any of the publishers. Most of the time,
No,
it's
they're at
gonna be,
meetings or they're walking
yeah,
around.
and the guy that is selling the actual books is just
a
an employee. Yeah.
salesperson, right?
So
No.
you can't just meet them there without booking in advance. But yeah, the best way is to find which of the publisher you want to talk to,
Right.
and try to reach out to them before.
You don't even have to table at the convention in order to get meetings to happen.
you don't.
Can just, if you know that you're going to be at whatever, San Diego 2027, let's say,
Yeah.
you just look up a list of the publishers that are going to be attending in any capacity the same convention, and months in advance you would write emails, reach out and see if anyone is open to meet with you there, and sort of book an appointment
Yeah.
ahead of time.
I think you don't have to have a table, but it helps if you do have a table.
For sure, yeah.
Because if they see that you have a table at one of the big conventions,
yeah,
for sure it helps to like show you.
It's like a selection
in a
process.
more professional way.
Of course. It means that you're big enough to be tabling at a convention, you were accepted, you're probably well known to some extent.
Yeah.
You might not be, Todd McFarlane or I don't know, one of the biggest names out there, but you are known enough to to present your work there.
If you're trying to reach out to publishers, just know that it's almost impossible. So don't be discouraged by any of the rejections, or like most of the time they don't answer.
Yeah,
because
I think that's become a plague in our world, in general.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of, I've heard from many people in different industries that people just don't answer anymore. They don't answer their emails.
Yeah.
They don't answer
Yeah,
the
I
messages.
think there's people are tired of spam, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know what it. I think maybe people are overworked.
And a lot of people got used to, especially in North America.
Yeah.
They got used to be reminded, like follow-ups.
Yeah.
So they're so used to being reminded
that it's become the culture.
Yeah,
it's just
become, I don't answer the first email, I'm gonna wait for the second one to answer.
Which is crazy. It's just nuts.
Yeah, it's especially in North America. I haven't seen this thing so
rampant.
Yeah,
anywhere else.
Anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the time they don't answer at all.
And it could even be someone that you were previously conversing with over email, but they at some point just ghost you.
Unless that's actually a good advice to give.
Yeah.
If you can, try from the get-go, like at first, to do a meeting, like a video call.
Yeah.
As opposed to talk via email, because people behave differently if they talk to you face to face.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be easier down the road to make a better connection if you actually talked to the person.
Yeah, of course, because now you're not just another one of thousands of people that they are
they
conversing
remember
with.
your behavior, your
Mannerisms, face.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's different, but it's not easy. I think it's because no is the easier answer.
What do you mean?
Yeah, they have to decide, am I going to answer this guy? Do I want to do something with him? Do I want to, I don't know, extend the interaction somehow?
Right.
And the easiest answer for them would be no, because then they don't have to do anything, especially. So it's like
I don't
the default.
understand because wouldn't a publisher be looking for new opportunities to work with artists? And
First of all, a lot of them, especially the last year, are struggling themselves because of all the changes that happened in the industry, like Diamond shutting down and filing bankruptcy.
yeah,
So there was a lot of changes and stuff that happened, and a lot of the publishers are not in a good position as they were.
right.
So it's easier for them to say no.
Okay.
And yes, a lot of them aren't publishing new stuff. They're just republishing older stuff or doing the same thing again, same stuff again. And some of them are looking for new projects, but they if you're not a very known creator, they're gonna, you have to convince them.
Yeah.
And if you're in a position that you need to convince them, then it's easier for them to say no,
Okay.
because they have to take a chance on a new unknown creator, if you are a new and unknown creator.
Yeah.
So if the default answer is no, it's probably gonna be the actual answer most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe things are gonna change this
What?
year.
Why do you think?
I think maybe the system of publishing got a little bit more stable recently.
Yeah.
I
Why is
think
that?
just because some time passed, and maybe people were afraid of the diamond stuff. They thought that might do more damage, and the industry actually survived. And a lot of the shops, I think they had a good good year, the last one,
Okay.
last year.
How would
So
you
I
come
don't
by
know.
that information that shops had a good year?
I just read, and I actually listen to a podcast that talks a lot about industry, like business stuff.
Distribution, etc.
Yeah, business related things.
What is it called?
Um, Comic industry insiders.
Okay. For anyone that might be interested in the business side of things.
Yeah.
So basically, keep your ear to the ground is another piece of advice. I think that's true of any industry or career direction. It's good to know what's going on in your field, right?
Yeah. For sure, of course. But I don't let it affect my artistic decisions, only my business decisions.
Mm.
Like I don't read about what's the most popular thing to do in comics now and write about it and do it. I actually do the opposite. I sometimes I look for what's the most popular stuff and I do the actual opposite.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a nice process of creation.
Jillian says, have you ever been to Lightbox Expo?
I've done Lightbox when I think it was 2020 when it was digital in the pandemic.
Right.
So there was 1 year it wasn't
a physical event.
Yeah, a physical event, and I had like I think it was the year of the NFT stuff, all the digital art that was happening back then.
Yeah.
So they did like digital booths.
Right.
Which was kind of cool and nice. Yeah, I think it's a cool show because it's a show that mostly for like industry illustrators, right, and animators, and it's not comic centric.
Yeah.
So for me specifically, it's not the exact specific show that will be best for me, but it's a nice show. But I think it's far, so yeah, that's also hard.
Where is it located?
I think in LA. Is it? I think it's in LA. So Panick, my publisher for Razor Gray, they're based in the West Coast,
right,
in LA. So they were talking about maybe bringing me to some conventions, but I'm not sure
which ones.
They talked about something in London even once. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not. I don't have any news yet. Yeah, but Lightbox is nice. It's a cool, very cool show. So the climbing style that I'm drawing here is dry tooling.
Yes.
And we've never tried it before.
No, we haven't tried it. I've watched competitions, which it's interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
It looks very interesting. I actually want to try it once.
Yeah, I don't think once would be enough to actually get a feeling for it, but
why not?
Because there's a lot of technique that you have to pick up over time.
Yeah, for sure. But I think because we're experienced climbers,
it would be easy for us, for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Easier.
Yes. Yeah.
Than a beginner.
Yeah.
And I get the idea.
Yeah, it's mountaineering.
I can understand. No, I mean like physically I understand the movement in a way that I think I can mimic them somehow. I'm sure it's not easy the first time.
No, yeah, it's very demanding physically. So it combines the sort of stamina needed for lead climbing long routes with further technique that you wouldn't usually, that you don't need when you're just lead climbing and not tool climbing.
Yeah.
There's the whole deal of where you hold the axe. You can match the axe and hold it with two hands.
It has
and then you rest the other axe on sort of your like shoulder or or your teeth. Sometimes you hold it in your teeth.
Yeah.
You sort of like bite the handle part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be very careful not to drop the axes, because you're going to be stuck with just one, I guess, and you can't really continue climbing that way.
Yeah.
And there's gloves that you wear, so it's a bit more.
And I saw when I watched the competitions,
Yeah.
climbing competitions, they recently added some very weird things that they do. Have you seen that?
What sliding and stuff?
Like they have something that is hanged on a wire, and they
Right.
need to like
Lâcher towards it or jump?
no, just be on it and swing
Like
with
Batman?
it.
Oh, like an Omega?
Yeah.
So it's
And
like
stuff like that.
sliding. They use the axe to sort of, the way that you would with a skateboard, like grind down. They would use the axe to like slide from one position to the next.
Yeah, and like
which is not really something that happens in nature.
No, and also I saw like features
That
like
were
big
moving. They were
features
on
that are
chains.
on chains. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean,
It's different from like regular lead climbing.
oh, for sure.
They
In
don't
many
do
ways.
that at all.
No. I mean, just wait for it, right? I don't think much time is going to pass before we see holds that move and change.
Do you think so?
I think so. I think it's going to happen for sure.
Why did it happen in ice climbing before lead climbing, though?
I think
don't
that they
understand the reason for
No,
that.
I understand the reason. I think that ice climbing is more of a slow-paced, repetitive type of climbing, and they needed something to get the audience more engaged. There wasn't a lot of dynoing and like jumping around going on necessarily. You have so there's a type of shoe that they wear that has spikes on it, and you can basically use any part of the plywood as a foot placement, right? So that just means that what happened?
No, the
Oh yeah. It's called, I don't remember the name.
It has like metal
Climbing
spikes.
spike shoes name. I'll know it once I see it, but because we haven't ever been. Oh, crampons, yeah. So they have crampons attached to their shoes or boots, and that way you can just kick into the plywood if you're doing dry tooling, or kick into the ice if you're outdoors, and make most surfaces turn into a sort of like foothold or a place where you can, utilize to weight yourself.
If it's a very hard surface.
Except very extremely hard. Like rocks, you can't kick into rocks, obviously. You can kick into ice. I think you can kick into any kind of ice or most kinds of ice.
You can kick into a stone, right?
Sandstone? No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't try to disturb the structure of sandstone. That's a recipe for a disaster. I had a bad fall on sandstone. I obviously was sport climbing. I wasn't kicking into it with any kind of spikes or anything. But sandstone tends to, depending on where you are, be more easy to crumble. It doesn't even have to be your fault. It could just be you randomly choose to hold a part of the wall that most people don't use, and then it turns out to be a little bit softer, or it's about to break off anyway, and you get chunks or little pieces flying off all the time. I took quite a fall. I think I fell for like maybe 8 or 9 meters, and I was on a rope, obviously, slammed into the cliffside. No serious injuries, but it was.
Is Jamie here?
Jamie was here in the beginning of the live stream. I don't know if he's still here. Hey, Jamie, say hi if you're still here.
Jamie's always asking about movies.
Right.
And I wanted to maybe talk about the movie that we saw.
Oh yeah, we watched One Battle After the Other. Was that what it was called?
After Another.
After Another, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a movie.
No, it's a good movie. I like the way that I like the actors. I like the way that it's filmed, and the music is amazing. I really like Johnny Greenwood. Johnny Greenwood from Radiohead is the composer.
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't like the message of the movie. Everything else I did like.
What did you not like about the message? Or
The message was violence. It was use violence, and violence is gonna solve your problems. And I don't think it's a good message. I don't actually think it's a good I don't think it has a good way to solve problems. I think it creates more problems than it solves.
right,
So
right.
that's the reason I didn't like
Yeah, we had a
the
short
idea of the movie.
conversation about this topic after we finished watching the film, in which I sort of said, putting aside whether I think that violence solves anything or not, because I tend to agree with you, but putting that aside, I think the human race is violent. At least some aspects of it are.
Yeah.
And being an animal on Earth um, sort of necessitates aggressiveness to some degree. And I might not agree with being violent, but I think that it would be extremely hard to completely negate that aspect of our sort of genetic makeup or
Yeah, I agree that
biology.
it's not easy to eliminate violence altogether, but I think the way to start is making movies that don't condone violence and
Right. You can at
don't
least
say that
try to
you can
be
solve your problems by using terrorism or violence.
right. I think
It's
that's the key, though,
it's
that
naive.
it is naive. I think that's the key. It's even though it is a sort of ingrained part of our collective psyche, doesn't it behoove us as a species and as individuals to look towards and aggrandize our most noble aspects of ourselves?
Yeah.
I think that's
No, but I think also, like, if you put the like morality thing aside, I think that violence, if you look at past events, historic events, they usually fail. Usually the non-violence behavior leads to better outcome. For example, the um, um, the gay rights movement. They succeeded because they were hoping to change, to normalize the queer people,
right.
and they did it by education and like smart things, not pushing it to people in violence acts.
Yeah.
And another example is the um, other social movements, like I don't know why I can't remember the feminist movement name. But yeah, that's another example. So if you look and check historic
equal rights movements of all sorts,
movements, the ones that are most successful use non-violence means to get their goals.
And they do it persistently over a long period of time.
Yes,
So
and it works
yeah,
after a while.
I guess the best way is actually to change people's minds and get most of the population
Education.
behind you and understanding why it is important what you're trying to say. I guess that
Yeah.
would be the best way to go about it.
Change minds.
It just
That's
takes more time and it can be way more frustrating.
Yeah, but I think violence doesn't work.
I mean,
I'm putting aside all the moral issues and just look at it in a scientific way and see if it works or not. And I think that usually it doesn't work.
in what way do you mean that it doesn't work? So, for
Like
instance,
violence acts are most of the time they don't. Like I don't know. I'm looking at specifically. I'm thinking about the like the Muslim terrorist ideas, just as an example. But we can think about other violent ideas or organizations.
I was
Eventually, they don't work.
I was thinking about, like, let's take an instance of extreme violence that had a goal, I guess, to it, or an overarching plan.
Even the Luddite movement,
the colonization of North America,
yeah,
from the east, for instance.
Yeah, it was violent.
It was very violent. Would you say that it wasn't successful?
No, it wasn't successful.
No.
It depends on how
Exactly.
you
That's my point.
describe how you describe success.
Right. That's exactly my point. So to say that violence isn't successful sounds.
No, but if a movement has a goal and it can achieve the goal, that means the movement is successful. So if you look at the colonization of America by Europeans, it was successful in their eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it could be deemed as successful.
But it wasn't successful if you look at it in a very broad perspective. Because it led to a lot of pain.
I don't know that everyone would agree that that is the broader perspective. I would, but I don't know if others, like, necessarily that is accepted widely as the broader perspective.
Of course, it's all depends on how you see it, how you define your success or failure.
Right.
But especially in modern movements, I think the more, like, I'm thinking about the Luddites, for example, which were a resistance group. They were violent, but they didn't. I don't think they killed people. They just destroyed machines, and it wasn't successful. It didn't stop any machine of.
I don't know that their aim was to stop machines from being made. I don't think
they wanted to. Yeah, so it started when looming machines,
the
like
loom, yeah,
the machine that makes fabrics, the textiles.
Yeah, the loom
were invented.
Yeah.
So they lost a lot of people lost their jobs.
Right.
And they started a movement that like actively went out and smashed the machines.
Right.
And I think they had a manifesto that said
that technology was evil.
Something like that, yeah. But I think if they were more active in maybe quieter ways, it could have been more successful.
Yeah, Dune definitely. I mean, it's sort of
Dune?
yeah, because Rob has been saying sort of like AI, right? The way that people look at AI now and demonize it.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and then he added and Dune, LOL.
Yeah.
No thinking machines, right? The Butlerian Jihad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree that self propagating or self sort of what is it called? Not self-replicating, but when they are able to make themselves better, improving. Yeah, I guess self-improving. So I think that self-improving AI is very dangerous. It could be very dangerous.
It's already self-improving now.
We haven't really reached a point in which it can sort of like print its own bodies to inhabit. It's not that far off.
Yeah.
But it's obvious the dangers that are inherent in it, right?
Yeah.
Once it's able to sort of function either in the digital or the physical world unchecked and
yeah, but I think that the only way to make the future safer is non-violent. It's like changing legislations and doing stuff that's gonna keep this technology safe somehow, but in a like convince people that it's important.
But when has humanity ever done that for any technology? We've never done that.
No, it's
there was no. I mean, there's the Geneva Convention, but it's being broken all the time, and it has been ever since it was created.
No, I think, for example, there's the FDA, for example, and organizations that are their goal is to check if the technology is causing problems or making
But
our future safe or
why
not.
would OpenAI or Google or any of these
Because
other companies why would they defer
because
to...
the government is gonna say that they have to do that.
But that's not happening
now.
I think it's, in a way, it's sort of like too late
this
as
is
well.
this is what I'm saying. I'm saying the only way to change that is to change the rules and convince everybody, like do it in a smart way and not in a Luddite way. Don't smash the AI. Don't say AI is evil.
No, because
try to
that
solve
just creates
the problem. Yeah, that creates
even more interest
antagonism,
right? And antagonism, yeah. But
so try to solve it in a smart way. Like I think that people like Yuval Noah Harari, for example, he talks a lot about the dangers of AI, and I think that's a good thing because it's the way to convince people that this technology needs to be. We need to look at it now. Wow, because it's gonna be dangerous.
I think it already is
the only way to convince people that it's
yeah. I think it already is becoming sort of overpowering, and the way that I reach that conclusion is that we've arrived already at a point at which it is a black box to us.
Yeah.
And it's opaque. We can't really see what the quote unquote thinking process is inside.
Yeah.
Because it's so layered and multiplexed that there's no annotation happening, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of calculation and sort of mirroring and self-reflection in there, but it's not necessarily done in a way that humans can sort of peer in and freeze frame and get some output out of.
Yeah, it's
at
a
any given
box.
point. So that's already that should be a red flag already. Because
we
never
don't understand it.
Yeah, we're creating something for the first time, maybe
That we
even,
don't understand.
that we don't have control over, we don't fully understand, might be able to improve itself,
Yeah.
and at the moment is not regulated in any way, or mostly not regulated in any way. And I think that also the time for regulation was or is now, like at the actual present moment, and it is not happening at that sort of level at the present moment.
Yeah.
I don't see how regulation in 10, 20 years time would be as effective as regulating it when it's birthed, so to speak. But
it might be effective.
I don't know. I just think the human race has a bad track record of self-regulating destructive technology. We don't really have the best track record in that regard. The sword was invented, swords are still out there, and knives are still being used. Bullets were invented, bullets are still out there and being used in guns as well. Everything that has ever been invented along the lines of weaponry is still mostly available and being used. We're just adding more items to the repertoire, basically.
But I don't think if you look on the past and see all the mistakes, I don't think it's necessary that the future is going to make the same mistakes. The future might be different.
Well, it might be, but they say that whoever doesn't learn from the past is bound to make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
And I think that we haven't, as a species, we haven't necessarily learned much from the past.
Maybe we have.
It's not looking like it.
We did learn some stuff because
we learned how to kill people more efficiently.
Look at a pandemic, for example. Like the way that the people overcame it, like developed the vaccine. A lot of information was collaborated to make that happen.
Yeah.
So good stuff can happen.
Of course, for sure. For sure. It's just that the dangerous stuff is becoming much more dangerous on a global scale.
Yeah, and I think that the way to solve it is talk about it and make movies about it, make comics about it. And so people understand that people are concerned and there's a reason to be concerned.
Yeah.
So that's what I didn't like about the movie, because even the very like kitschy Hollywood movies, action movies,
right?
They do have the right message at the end, which is violence is not the answer. Like even in I don't know, Superman, Wonder Woman, like the stuff like that.
Yeah.
So why isn't it the correct message in like more indie stuff? And I do like the creator, Paul Thomas Anderson. I really liked There Will Be Blood, one of my favorites.
Is that the one in which they're like in the jungles or something?
No, it's about the oil industry, the beginning of the oil industry in the US.
Oh, I don't think I saw that.
With Daniel Day-Lewis and Paul Dano.
Is this like an older movie?
It's not that old. It's from 2008.
Huh.
Maybe.
There Will Be Blood. I don't think that I'm not sure
Paul
that
Dano?
No.
Paul Dano is he's a young reverend there.
Okay.
And Daniel Day-Lewis is the main character.
Isn't Daniel Day-Lewis the one that dances in the rain? Or am I...
No, that's what's his name? Kevin Costner.
No, not Kevin Costner. Dancing in the Rain.
No, dancing in. Do you mean singing in the rain?
Singing in the Rain.
No.
But it's also something Day-Lewis, right? Or am I mixing up my...
You're mixing a lot of stuff.
Gene Kelly?
Yeah, Gene Kelly.
What does Gene Kelly have to do with Daniel Day-Lewis?
Nothing.
No, it's not possible.
Maybe Daniel Day-Lewis was a fan of it, of Gene Kelly when he was growing up, because he's much younger.
Okay, so Gene Kelly and Daniel Day-Lewis are often compared or contrasted in discussions regarding the definition of movie stardom versus acting talent.
No.
Daniel Day-Lewis is frequently cited
Is it
as a premier
ChatGPT
actor.
or Gemini?
It's Gemini.
Yeah.
While Kelly is viewed as an iconic movie star and dancer.
Gemini is gonna
come up with whatever, right?
Whatever. If you write two different people.
But you think?
I'm
Give
sure.
me like two people that have absolutely nothing in common.
Albert Einstein and Madonna.
No, but you could say that both are extremely famous.
Okay.
What do Albert Einstein and Madonna have in common? Disregarding their fame.
They're both Jewish.
I don't think Madonna's Jewish.
Madonna, I think she converted to Judaism.
Yeah, but that doesn't... I'm not sure that Judaism works that way.
You can convert.
You can convert, but isn't it like if your mom's not Jewish, then you're simply not Jewish?
No, if you convert, you can be Jewish.
Okay. So, let's see what AI has to say about this.
AI will say anything about
They both
anything.
have exceptional IQs.
Okay.
Einstein's IQ is estimated at 160, while Madonna reportedly has an IQ of 140. Masters of self-marketing. I don't think Einstein was a master of self-marketing. What are they talking about?
I don't know.
Rebellious streaks. That's about any person. Like, it's not really managing to find any commonalities, but it's trying. I'll give it that. It is trying. Okay, so it has been over an hour and a half.
Has it?
Last of the Mohicans is Daniel Day-Lewis, Rob says.
Yeah.
Dances with Wolves is Kevin Costner,
Yeah,
LOL. Okay, Kevin Costner, yeah, that's... I think I have watched Dances with Wolves, but it was a long time ago, Dances with Wolves. I don't remember much of it. Did you want to show perhaps the finished page from last week?
Oh, from last week?
Yeah.
Not this one?
Or this one as well, obviously, but...
It's not finished.
I'm going to zoom out here.
It's on the way?
Yeah, it's mostly done.
No, the backgrounds and the blacks are not done.
The backgrounds on this page are more simple, right?
Yeah.
Than the characters.
Yeah, it's a climbing gym, so there's not...
A lot of straight lines and big open shapes.
Yes. So yeah, I have the blacks and the backgrounds here. The last one I did on the stream, I'm not sure which one was it. I don't remember. What did I do last time? Was it this?
No, I don't think so. I think it was a page from Helix Sky.
Was it?
Yeah, I can check.
Don't remember. Oh, was it another climbing? Did you find the last one?
Rob asks, he says he won't be able to make it to C2E2, but he'll tell his friend Sean to go and say hello to us.
Was it this page?
And will you have originals for sale?
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
Of course we will, yeah. The jumping page.
Was it
Yeah,
this?
it's Jamie says the jumping page. I think it was this page. Yes, yeah, because I remember you inking that.
Yeah, the jumping page. Yeah, so here there's the another famous climbing.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. The figure 4
dry tool climbing
technique. Yeah.
And I finished all the details in the background.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, so yeah.
Highly detailed pages.
This is for a short that I just finished. I need to color it.
It's gonna be in Raid magazine.
Yeah. I don't know if I can talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, next time. I think tomorrow I'm gonna finish this one, but this week I'm gonna do more coloring and sketching. So if you want to see sketches of Helix Sky and coloring, maybe tomorrow morning I'm gonna do some coloring of the short that I'm working on, and I'll finish this maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, so
but yeah, no inking this week, I think, because I need to catch up with the sketches. So I'll have more inking stuff to do the next week.
Next live stream.
Yes.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining us on the live, and please refer our channel to anyone you think might be interested in following.
and also go and see my Instagram post about Razor Gray, and if you like my stuff, then maybe post about it.
Yeah, you can share it in your stories, or
even a comment.
Leave a comment. It really helps.
Even a comment helps. Yeah.
And yeah, we'll have more information about Razor Gray next time, I'm hoping. Yeah, maybe we'll be able to share more details about sort of like the cover maybe, or
yeah,
some of the characters without spoiling anything.